You know, there are more than 1 million people who pass through Times Square each and every day. Tens of thousands of hotel rooms that are here, 16,000 to be exact. It is the crossroads of the world, and the mayor, Michael Bloomberg, joins us now this morning with the latest on the investigation. Where does it stand right now, Mayor?
Well, Robin, first let me thank ABC for lending us your headquarters here on Times Square. That's where Command Center was at 2 a.m. on Sunday morning. And from here you saw the police department, the fire department, the FBI, Office of Emergency Management, Homeland Security, all of the people getting together to make sure that we kept this city safe. We do it all the time. We have 1,000 police officers dedicated to intelligence and counterterrorism, 35,000 uniformed cops on the beat. And what happened here was there was an event, and somebody, you're going to interview him in a second, Dwayne Jackson, a Vietnam vet who was working here in Times Square, saw something, called a cop, Wayne Radigan, a mounted police officer. He took his horse over, looked in, said this is not right, called other cops in right away to start clearing the area, brought in the fire department, the Office of Emergency Management, and then from then on the professionals just took it over. And I can tell you, the people in New York City understand that we live in a dangerous world. They understand that we are the symbol for democracy around the world. We're the symbol of America for a lot of people that don't like our freedoms. And what we've done is made sure that people can continue to practice their religion and come here. Last night I had dinner here in Times Square. It was mobbed. It's kind of sparse this morning because we're having a lot of rain.
That's true. It was a different scene this weekend. It was the warmest weekend so far this year. But the video that we saw earlier in our report with Brian Ross about the person of interest right now.
Okay, but it's just a person of interest. There are hundreds of videos. We haven't seen all of them. We'll look at each one many times with experts. And this is just one person who may or may not have anything to do with it. What I can tell you is so far there's no legitimate evidence that the Taliban or Al-Qaeda or anybody else had anything to do with this, no matter what the Taliban says. There's one group in the Taliban that claims credit for everything, traffic jams and all of that stuff. Maybe they did, but so far there's no evidence that this is anything other than perhaps one or two people acting independently. Now, that may not be what the final investigation shows, but I can just tell you, working with the White House, working with Homeland Security, working with the FBI, all city agencies working together, there's a high probability that we will find out who did this and apprehend them. No guarantees.
Well, because there were fingerprints and other things that were found because thankfully it didn't detonate.
A lot of evidence, and that's what our professionals do. That doesn't always result in the kind of where you want it to be, in an apprehension and a conviction, but there's a chance of that.
You referred to Dwayne Jackson, who is by your side
guy my
right
size.
now. Yeah, he's just your side. You are a proud veteran. You are a vendor. You were there on the scene. You have your beautiful family that is here. And something that Mayor Bloomberg and others have always said, if you see something, say something. What was it that you saw that made you want to go and get the police?
Well, first of all, the SUV was parked in an area where the tour buses turn constantly. I've been on that corner for 13 years. And always when we see someone pulling over there, we say, hey, guy, move that car up, move out of the way. So when I first approached the car and saw the keys inside and saw that it was still running and started looking around to see whose car this was, you know, who left this thing here, I was a little concerned just by the fact that it was a turning lane and was going to be blocking traffic.
What did you see inside the car?
Well, the windows were tinted in the back and the front seats were clear, but one of the things that was strange to me was that the key itself had a lot of other keys hanging on it, almost like the person might have been a locksmith or a janitor or something like that, and it just kind of caught my attention.
And so what do you say to folks that when they see something about speaking up, because Mayor Bloomberg and other officials here, there's so much activity here. Mm-hmm. I know that you have seen things in your years here on the streets, but what do you say to those?
Well, I mean, vigilance is the key. We're working in Times Square for the last 13 years. We keep a sharp eye for everything that's going on, from just people panhandling on the street. I get a call every now and then from New York City police officers. Dwayne, have you seen anything, you know, during the Christmas time? We were concerned about people trying to pickpocket people. So it's the pulse of Times Square, and you've got to be alert. And I would say to anyone that keep your wits about you and don't take anything for granted.
Represents the best of New York.
Absolutely.
All right, Dwayne, Mr. Mayor, and your beautiful family, thank you so much. I know how proud you are of your husband, as we are. Mr. Mayor, thank you so much.